October 28th, 2021 meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission to order. The first item of business is to call the roll call. So let's see who's here. Please signify by saying present or aye when I call your name. Commissioner Don Bernstein. Yes, he should be recorded as absent. Commissioner Gail Lima.
I think he's coming later, isn't he? Didn't he send an email? He'll be here around 7:20.
Well,
Yes.
note the record when he shows up. Okay, Gail, you're present, obviously, you just talked.
Yep.
Commissioner Indra Deb,
Yes, present.
Commissioner Bill Boyden. Bill, can't hear you.
Unmute.
All right, you're here.
Yeah, present.
Commissioner Jennifer O'Riordan. You should be marked absent at this time. Oh, no, you're here. I see you.
I'm here, yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Ed LaTurco.
You muted, Ed. He's here, but he's muted.
I guess I'll mark him present.
Yeah, he's frozen again.
Yeah, okay. Associate Commissioner Kent Moffett.
Here.
All right, hi Kent, how are
Hello.
you? Administrator John Keeley.
Present.
And Assistant Administrator Eileen Coleman.
Present.
All right. Okay, let's first go over a few things on the agenda. All right.
I was.
What's that? Okay, you're here, Ed. Okay. Item 5 is a public hearing that was scheduled as a notice of intent on the Burlington landlocked forest. We're not going to open it tonight. There was a omission in advertising it for this hearing. And so the intent is that the proponents know that we will open the hearing on November 15th at our next meeting. And we anticipate also closing the hearing that night. That was item 5, Burlington Landlocked Forest, the Lexington Greenway Corridor Committee. Item 6 will not be heard. That is a public hearing, 7 Freeport Drive. It is to construct a residential addition. Again, the same mishap happened and it was inadvertently not advertised. So item 6 will be postponed until, we'll open the hearing until November 15th at our next meeting. And we anticipate closing it that night as well. That's 5 and 6. Item 8 on the agenda is a continued public hearing. That's an open public hearing for a notice of intent for 130 Lexington Street. This is for the Islamic Center of Burlington. It's to remove, fill, and restore the buffer zone. This particular hearing, the applicant has requested that it be continued to November 15th. Could I have a motion from the commission to continue 130 Lexington Street hearing until our meeting of November 15th? Is there such a motion?
So moved, Bill.
Second.
Second, Gail.
All right. So, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed? I will mark it as abstaining because we can't hear him. The chair votes yes. So we have, by a vote of 5-0-1, the hearing for 130 Lexington Street is continued to November 15th. Now we have items 9, 10, and 11. This is the Redmond Street roadway by Somerset Realty. Number 4 Redmond Street by the same applicant. Number 5 Redmond Street by the same applicant. All 3 public hearings will be continued to November 15th at the request of the applicant. But I have a motion to continue Redmond Street roadway, number 4 Redmond Street, and number 5 Redmond Street to the commission's November 15th meeting.
So moved, Indra.
Second,
Second, Gail.
all right. Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed? It looks like he might have had a log off. He's probably rebooting. So I will, for the time being, I'll mark it as abstaining and the chair votes yes. So by a vote of 501, Redmond Street roadway, number 4 Redmond Street and number 5 Redmond Street have been continued until the commission's next meeting on November 15th.
So moved,
Okay.
Gail.
What was that, Gail?
I'm just moving to move the applicant's, next date.
Oh, okay, we already did that. We just did it.
Okay, sorry. Got carried
all right.
away.
That's all right. We can, I know you just wanted to make sure. That's fine. Okay, so as people can see, all votes will be by roll call. The meeting is recorded. And now we'll begin to move down the agenda. For any applicant that's here, I'll ask them to introduce themselves. All right, so the next item of business is item 2 on our agenda is citizens' time. Is there anyone here who would like to say something about something not on the agenda?
Larry, do you need to read that opening statement thing?
Oh, yes. All right, I probably should. All right, so here, I'll read the opening. Thank you, Bill. Pursuant to Governor Baker's June 15, 2021 lifting of the state emergency and the following, the passing of the Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, which allow for remote meetings until April 1st. This meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is being conducted through remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public are permitted, but every effort is made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder, if you would like to listen to or view this meeting while it's in progress, you have a number of choices. The BCAT Government Cable Access Channel, the BCAT Government Meetings Facebook Live feed, or you can join the meeting at the phone number which is shown on the screen, 408-418-9388, and it's meeting number 2339548-3469. If you can't remember all that, you can go to the agenda on the Town of Burlington's Conservation, Town of Burlington Conservation item on the agenda. There'll be on the agenda, you'll find all this information. To join the WebEx Live video conference, click on the link on the Conservation Commission's meeting page or on that the Town of Burlington Town Calendar calling up the agenda. Or you have a choice, you can go to webex.com and press join a meeting and put in that meeting number, and there's a password that's on the screen if you choose to do it that way. New public hearings open tonight will not be closed, so it'll allow for comments from the public, from those who are unable to access or uncomfortable with the technology. Comments and concerns regarding public hearings should be emailed to conservation@burlington.org. Before the next meeting, of course, which is November 15th. Okay, thank you, Bill. All right, got the formalities under the way. All right, so the record should show, I called on citizens' time, there is no one here for that. Am I correct in saying we only have minutes of meeting of September 23rd to approve? Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so are there any discussion? Any major changes to those minutes? Okay, could I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd meeting, 2021 of the Burlington Conservation Commission? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Indra.
Second.
Second, Gail.
All right, Gail, how do you vote on approval of minutes?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
okay. Ed, I don't think, Ed, we're on approval of minutes. Can you hear us? He's having technical difficulties. He's logged in, so he's present, but we'll record you as abstaining again. All right, and the chair votes yes. So the minutes of September 23rd, 2021 are approved by a vote of 5-0-1. No, it's 4-0-2. Jennifer, you abstained, correct? Okay. Next, we're on item 4A. We have a number of requests for certificate of compliance. The first one is 7 Holden Ave by Deborah Goldberg, DEP number 122-63. All right, is someone here from 7 Holden?
Yes, Greg Saab from ESS.
Hi, Greg. How are you tonight?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Okay, so let's go to our staff. Eileen or John, could you give us a few comments on the state of compliance, please?
I think I will. So this was a tear down and a rebuild of a single family house. It was in the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. They did say, I'm just going to share in a moment the as-built plan once I make sure I have it lined up. Hang on a second. So it looked like that the house was built as per specifications. Post and rail fence was built. I'm going to comment on that in just a second. And the promised trees were planted behind the fence. One thing we only noted actually today or yesterday, John did, is that the post and rail fence doesn't extend all the way to the lot line. There was on the plan that we approved for the notice of intent, it did make a turn. However, this one doesn't. So I just wondered if Greg has a comment about that.
Yeah, I received an email today about that, and the proposed plan does show going right to that drainage line. So they'll have to extend it by 2 rail lengths.
Yeah, I
about
think so.
16 feet. But I think they stopped there because it's a wooded area. And the way the erosion control went, it went straight in line with that last post to the to Holden Ave. And the
They were
utility
probably
pole-
following the erosion line, which was there before. I did when I
Yeah,
just
see-
switched. When I just
yeah.
switched, can you now see the photos?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
they did. They followed the erosion line. They just stopped it there because it's wooded.
Right, but
It
I
looks
think
like
our concern is just with it being so open at the front now. You know, they can just mow in behind, so we'd like it to just extend as it did.
two
For
lanes.
yeah.
Okay, I'll
Unless the commission has a comment.
All right, does anyone on the commission have any further comment for the state of the property at 7 Holden Ave for a certificate of compliance?
Nope.
Okay, I guess there's no further comments. So we only have that one issue. What did the certificate require? Did the order of conditions require any restoration of the 20-foot no disturb?
They did plantings in the no disturb, and I believe they were. Greg, can you just correct me if I'm wrong on this? They were just sort of letting the rest naturally revegetate. Was that the idea?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
those 3 plantings that you see on the plan are definitely in place, or at least they were when I last saw it.
Okay, without the leaves, it's hard to tell if they're even alive from the picture.
When I was there in September, they were alive. They had leaves, and yeah,
All right.
the pine was in
Well-
good shape. The 2 maple trees were in good shape.
All right. Okay, so we have those 2 sections of fence. It might be, if the commission approves this, it might be reasonable to approve the certificate and hold some or all of the bond until that's done, and then we release the bond at that time. Does that sound reasonable, Mr. Saab?
Very reasonable.
Okay. Uh,
The
All
bond
right.
is 2,500.
all right, so could I have a motion to approve a certificate of compliance for the property at 7 Holden Ave, DEP file number 122-637?
So moved, Gail?
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right, so, Don, do I see that you're here as well? He is here, so the record should show that Commissioner Don Bernstein has joined our little party. Excellent. All right, so, there's a motion on the floor. Gail, how do you vote?
Yes?
Indra?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, he's here. We
Yes.
can hear you, Ed. Good to hear you and see you. Okay, the chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. The certificate of compliance for 7 Holden Ave is approved. Okay, and the bond, the security is at $2,500. Eileen, do you have a recommendation? Should we just hold the thing? I assume, Mr. Saab, that these sections of fence are gonna be done very soon.
Yes.
It would
So-
probably be simpler. It would probably be simpler just to hold it for the couple of weeks and then we'll just give it all back then. I don't have any issues either way, though.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's fine.
So why don't we have a motion to release the full amount of the bond, subject to 2 sections of fencing being installed under Burlington bylaw Article 14.
So moved, Bill.
Second.
Okay. Hey,
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes?
Gail? Okay.
Yep.
Don? Don?
Yes.
Okay. Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
yes.
And the chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. $2,500 bond will be released in the full amount, subject to 2 sections of fencing being completed in the next couple of weeks.
Good.
All right, Mr. Saab, I think you're all set on this one.
All right, thank you.
All right, good to see you. Thank you.
You too.
All right, next we have a request for a certificate of compliance. This is for 11 University Ave by Daniel Murray, DEP number 122-651. Is someone here for that one? No, but we can probably proceed anyway, I guess. Eileen, what's?
I think we
the
can.
sta-
Yeah,
what's
it's
the
gonna be me
statement?
again. Let me just share the as-built plan. So again, this was a tear down and a rebuild in the buffer zone 2 bordering vegetated wetlands. Once again, it looks to me like it was built as expected. There are stone trenches on either side of the driveway. The driveway was not fully finished until today, so I haven't visited in person to make sure that it's crowned, but I have no reason to suspect that it wouldn't be. Sorry, I mean crowned as in so that it flows both ways towards the stone trenches on either side. The post and rail fence is in place. My only question that I just wanted to question Dan Murray about if he was here tonight is, I don't know if you can see it, but this top down spout here, I thought I had spoken to the contractor when I was out there about if there's a way to turn it so that it's definitely catching this gutter, but he probably thinks it is going to catch it, and if it doesn't, it's just going onto grass, so it's really not, it's nothing significant. I just thought it looked odd.
And it will.
Sorry, what, Ed?
I said, and it will.
I have just one comment, like, if the water goes down through the downspout from that high, whether there will be some erosion at the bottom.
Well, If you can see here, it is definitely going to catch here, and I didn't capture it very well. If you follow this gutter line over, it does go into a downspout to an infiltration system. So this is just some overflow, and okay, some of it maybe will flip off the top off the roof there and fall onto the grass, but that's kind of their
Right.
problem. Somebody's going to get wet, and then they're going to move the downspout a little.
All right, so are you recommending full release of the bond on this one?
I think so, unless anybody else has any objections.
All right, does anyone on the commission have any comments for 11 University Ave?
I had one comment. Although there are photos of the infiltration system being installed, it is not shown on the as-built plan. At least I couldn't find it.
Oh,
Unless I'm mistaken.
oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. In that case,
We can do the
does
same thing with the bond, subject to getting a revised drawing.
you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was put in because they gave us photos of it being
There was
installed. but
photos.
Just be nice
Oh,
to have
sorry.
it documented.
Okay, I can go back to him with that.
All right, good catch, Bill. Okay, so if there's nothing further from anyone, could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for the property at 11 University Ave, requested by Daniel Murray, DEP number 122-651.
So moved, Ed.
Second, Gail.
All right. Unless there's further discussion, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. The certificate of compliance for 11 University Ave is approved. All right, so how much is the bond, Aileen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking right now. I forgot to check that earlier. It is 2,500 as well.
All right, could I have a motion to release the full amount of the bond for 11 University Ave, a DEP file number 122-651, subject to getting a revised plan showing the location of the infiltration area on that plan?
So moved. Indra.
Second, second,
Second, Bill.
John, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. The full amount of the bond of $2,500 is released for 11 University Ave, subject to getting a revision to the as-built plan showing the infiltration area. Okay, so now we move on to item C. We have 7 Freeport Drive, request for certificate of compliance by Aswin Javeri, DEP file number 122-561. Is this the one, Eileen, that is, no work was done and it's a formality?
Yeah, Larry, I'll handle this one. Yeah, so there was, in 2015, there was an order of conditions issued to tear this house down and build a new house. They never did that. The order expired 3 years ago, and they have filed a new NOI, which you would be hearing tonight if I had placed the legal ad, to actually build an addition instead. So this is just to clear up the previous file.
All right, I guess there'll be no discussion therefore on this one. Could I have a
No, on this
motion?
one you can, just not on the NOI. You can do the COC.
No, I understand. If, could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 7 Freeport Drive for an old order labeled as DEP file number 122-561? Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Ed.
All right, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. Certificate of compliance have been issued for 7 Freeport Drive for DEP file number 122-561 for the reason that no work was ever done and the order expired under that DEP number. All right, now we'd like to go to 4D, which is again a request for a certificate of compliance for 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike, lower level, which is Burlington S&S LLC is requesting it for a stormwater erosion and sedimentation control permit. This is a request for certificate. Is there somebody here for that one?
Good evening, Connor Nagel with VHB, representing the applicant.
All right, Connor, nice to see you.
Likewise.
All right, John or Eileen, do you have any comments on this one?
All right, I'll take this one. This one is we're doing the entryway first, right? Sorry, they were all, no, we're not doing the entryway first. We're doing the Sears lower level. I have been out to this site. I've taken pictures. Took a little while for them to just, get it all finished and get it all cleared away. It's done. It looks good. I sent around pictures and I have more if anybody wants them. I'm not sure if Connor was going to share a plan, but I also have their as-built. Connor, did you want to share anything else?
I have nothing to add. I can certainly put the as-built on the screen if that helps anybody.
All right, okay, I think many of us have been to this location on a few times already. So let's see,
Sorry, I should have just clarified. This is an erosion control permit. So this is not a wetland permit especially for those of you who are newer members. So there were no wetlands in the vicinity of this particular project.
and was there a bond posted for this under our bylaw?
Yeah, I'm sure there was. Let me just check that for you too while Connor entertains you.
Maybe I should have put that plan on the screen.
Um,
It was built substantially in accordance with the plans, minor changes to planters in landscape areas or whatever, as tenants requested different things. But I think it looks well. If any of you have been out there and seen it, and there were no issues, in terms of erosion and sedimentation throughout construction. So all went pretty smoothly there.
I should have also mentioned we did receive weekly inspection reports for this project and for the next one. As being more substantial erosion control projects, that's what you usually require. And I just checked the bond and it was $10,000.
Are you recommending full release?
Yes.
Okay, so the commission, Dawn, Gail, or Indra, any comments on this one?
Sorry. So I just have a question, and I don't know if it's just worded oddly. In the O&M plan, it says, am I the right one? I am, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, inspect planted areas on a semi-annual basis and remove any litter. I would hope the litter is going to be removed more than a semi-annual basis.
I believe the mall staff do it far more frequently than that. Yes.
Okay, it just kind of was worded kind of strangely in there, but that's all.
All right, okay, how about Bill and Kent? Any comments from either of you?
Just one question for Connor. On the drawing, it's in several locations, it shows something called a grease trap. And it's not really in a restaurant, so I don't understand. What is that?
Those are related to restaurants on the sewer lines. There are some restaurants or cafe type facilities in there that require a grease trap before it's discharged to the sewer.
Okay, so that's an underground.
Yes,
Grease-
it is.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, I believe the health regulations for commercial kitchens require them, isn't that correct, Connor?
That is correct, yes.
All right.
Just to show you guys,
Kent?
so on the pictures that I sent you, this is Fogo de Chao, which is one of the new restaurants. It's right at the corner there. So there are definitely restaurants in that area.
Right. Kent, anything further? Can't hear you.
No, Bill covered everything.
Okay, Jennifer or Ed, is there anything further?
Nothing to add.
Okay, I have nothing further as well. I think it looks very nice, Connor.
Thank you.
All right, so could I have a motion to issue a certificate compliant for erosion and sedimentation control permit for number 5 Burlington Mall Road and also 1100 Middlesex Turnpike lower level to Burlington S&S LLC. Yeah, okay, is there a motion to that effect?
So move, Bill.
Okay, is there a second for the certificate?
Second Ed.
All right, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail? Gail?
Yes.
Gail, you are
Ring in.
muted.
I keep mute, maybe I'm just too quick with the button because I say yes and I unmute.
Okay, next is Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So the certificate of compliance has been issued by a vote of 7-0 to 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike lower level to Burlington S&S LLC. Could I have a motion to release the full amount of the bond of $10,000 under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike lower level to Burlington S&S LLC? Is there a motion?
So
moved,
moved.
Gail.
Second?
Second, Indra.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, so by a vote of 7-0, the full amount of the bond of $10,000 is released to Burlington S&S LLC for 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike lower level. All right, Connie, you're all set on this one. Okay, the next one is 5 Burlington Mall Road, 1100 Middlesex Turnpike called Entry 1. Are you here for that, Connor?
Yes.
Okay, what is Entry 1?
So entry 1 is on the east side of the mall, around the corner from the one we just spoke of, that was the Sears lower level, almost contiguous with that.
That's
on
right
the,
where, that's right where Land's End is going to be going soon?
yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, people will probably know that. All right, so again, this is a request for certificate of compliance for that location. All right, so Eileen or John, you want to comment on this one?
It'll be me again. Since I didn't share, I was going to just share the plans. Let me do that because I didn't the last time. This is a slightly smaller scale project. It was largely involving some restriping to for handicap spaces and some changes to the pavement in front of the entryway. Connor, you can correct me if I'm misstating this. And they were including some porous pavement. And as far as I can tell, again, it was built as specified. I don't have any issues with it.
Are you recommending full release of the bond and how much is it?
Yes, this time the bond was $5,000 and I do recommend full release.
Thank you, Eileen. All right, so let's see if anybody has comments or questions. Dawn or Gail?
Nope, all good.
Okay, Indra or Kent?
So, Eileen, is everything satisfactory? Whatever was supposed to be done?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Thank you.
Kent, anything further on this one?
Nope.
Okay, Bill or Jennifer?
Nope.
Nope.
Ed, anything?
Nothing to add.
As I recall, there actually was a catch basin inspection that was required, and they did that way back in beginning of 2020.
Okay.
That was a requirement.
I have one comment, not necessarily related to the order. I noticed, Connor, that you put like 4 spaces in front of land end. There's 4 parallel parking spaces indented into the curb. I was, I was a little bit surprised that they're not for handicapped. I don't think they are marked that way. They seem like regular spaces. Are you surprised at that, or was that a conscious effort, or?
I believe those are short-term pickup. I don't know if one of them is an accessible space or not. I'd have to double check that, to be honest.
Yeah, I looked the last time I've been there a number of times. I've been there, I didn't see it, but maybe it's marked on the pavement. I don't know. Okay. Oh, wait, anyways, it's not germane to what we're doing here anyway. All right, so if there's nothing further on this, then could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike Entry 1 to Burlington SNS LLC for a stormwater erosion and sediment control permit?
So moved, Don.
Second,
Second, Bill.
Don, how are you voting?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Okay, the chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. The certificate of compliance is issued for 5 Burlington Mall Road, 1100 Middlesex Turnpike, Entry 1 for an erosion and sedimentation control permit. Could I have a motion to release the full amount of the bond under Burlington Bylaw Article 14, Section 6 for 5 Burlington Mall Road, 1100 Middlesex Turnpike, Entry 1 in the amount of $5,000?
So moved, Bill.
Second.
Second. Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
All right, and the chair votes yes, so by a vote of 7-0-0, a bond in the amount of $5,000 is released to Burlington SNS LLC for 5 Burlington Mall Road and 1100 Middlesex Turnpike, Entry 1 for a stormwater erosion and sedimentation control permit. Connor, you had very little to do tonight.
Indeed. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Have a
Nice
good
to
one.
see you, and take care.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye. Okay. All right, so now we finally.
Sorry, I missed, did you release the bond on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
$5,000.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, we did, in fact. Okay. All right, so next we have a public hearing.
So Larry, we probably have to wait 3 or 4 minutes. We're a little early for the 7:45, so we should take care of the other business on the agenda.
All right, well, we're not hearing this one. We're not opening it. Right, so this is landlocked
This is a
forest.
this is a continuation.
So I
a
just
continued
announced
hearing.
it, I just announced it anyway, before, earlier when we started the meeting.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I think I'm okay to just comment on it.
Yeah.
We have number 5 was a public hearing. We are not opening it tonight. It was for the landlocked forest, requested by the Lexington Greenway Corridor Committee to construct a new trail and a pedestrian footbridge. There's no DEP file number yet. Because we missed advertising it properly, we have decided to open it on the at the November 15th meeting, and it is likely it will close at the same meeting on that day. The proponents are aware of this and agreed to it. So that's item 5. Item 6 has a similar circumstance. It is a public hearing notice of intent for 7 Freeport Drive before Aswin Javari to construct a residential addition. Again, the DEP number is pending. Again, due to a mishap, a mistake, this particular public hearing was not advertised in advance of this meeting. The proponent has been told of the situation and has agreed that we will open the meeting, open this hearing on our November 15th meeting. And we have told them that it is likely it will close in the same evening as well. So that's item 6. Item 7, okay, is at for 7:45. Are we at 7:45 yet? Couple of minutes.
No, it's
Couple
7:43.
minutes.
Okay. Well, do you anticipate, let's go to 12A then to kill 2 minutes. Do you anticipate any planning board comments at all, John or Eileen?
No, well, if we dispense with 207 Cambridge, I'll certainly let the planning board know that.
Okay. All right, well, we'll talk about it again.
Larry, this is Ed. Could you repeat that number 5, what that new date was?
November 15th, okay? I think it's a Monday, is that correct?
It is.
We're holding our one meeting in November on a Monday, as I understand it, because the first meeting, the second Thursday in November is Veterans Day. And the fourth Thursday in November, when we would normally hold the other meeting, is Thanksgiving. So the compromise, therefore, this year, for that unusual circumstance, is for our one meeting, we are going to have it on November 15th. So please mark your calendars for Monday, November 15th.
Thank you.
All right, so the clock on my computer, unless it is incorrect, says 7:45, so we can move on. Item number 7 is a continued public hearing. It is for the Burlington Wetland bylaw only for 207 Cambridge Street. Mo Santangelo and Federal Investment Trust is to install a stormwater basin and infrastructure. All right, is there somebody here for that hearing?
Good evening. My name is Mary Trudell, and hold on. I'm representing Federal Investment Trust this evening in our continued public hearing for the notice of intent we filed for the 207 Cambridge Street property. At our last meeting, there were some questions raised about the stormwater management strategies that we had employed, and Fred Russell, who is the project engineer, is here this evening to address those questions or comments. So I would turn this over to Fred and hope that if the commission has questions, they can get them answered.
So, Mary, what's the name of the cat first? Let's dispense with the important stuff.
You're
Can't hear
muted.
You, Mary.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was my cat Minnow.
Minnow. All right. All right, nice to see Minnow. Okay, Fred, good evening.
Larry, so if I asked Mary basically what I guess what the issues were, and I guess it was a couple that you had raised, Larry. One was if we could maybe, instead of putting that infiltration pond, if we could put some sort of an infiltration structure in, and so that sort of, I call it a pond, but it's more of a depression if you ask the Board of Health. But basically it's serving two purposes. The groundwater, we did a test pit out there, and the groundwater is only down about 3 feet. So the groundwater is roughly at elevation 145. The bottom of that depression is at 146. In order for us to put an infiltration system in, as you know, with the 2 feet of separation, we'd have a mounted system. Also, there's actually 2 distinct swales that come off of that hill. The one that we're relocating that now is going against the building, and then there's another one about 20 feet up the slope. So the width of that pond is going to catch both of those swales to make sure we don't bypass it. So it's not like it's a point discharge. We can put one structure in to capture it. So that, again, the depression is serving 2 purposes: one, to be above the water table, and 2, to capture the 2 distinct swales.
Okay. Let's I have a couple of comments for that, but I'd like to go to the commission first. Dawn, do you have any comments or questions for Mr. Russell or Mary Trudell?
No, nothing at this time.
Gail,
No, not right now.
Kent, do you have anything for either of these two individuals?
Nope.
Indra,
No, nothing at this time.
Bill,
Have you been before the Board of Health for this catch basin or whatever we're calling it, and they're okay with it?
Yeah, we've actually received an approval from them.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Jennifer O'Riordan. You have anything?
I don't have anything to add at this time. Thank you.
Edward Turco.
Nothing to add.
All right. Okay, so my comment was, given that the basin is at the lower end of where all the water accumulates, and it looks like the overflow structure is 3 feet higher than the bottom of the basin. This may be wrong, Mr. Russell.
No, you're right. You're right.
And given that the saturation, are you saying that the water will infiltrate, or it's not likely to infiltrate? It's just going to have 3 feet of water sitting in there until it, for the most part, is not going to do any significant infiltration at that point. What do your soil tests show at that point?
Well, when I ran the model, Larry, it does empty within the 72-hour period.
And I didn't catch it in a what period?
Within that 72-hour period that DEP requires that the water dissipate.
I see.
So it does dissipate within 72 hours based on the model.
So you don't anticipate, based on the model, that you're going to have 3 feet of water just sitting there and not draining.
That's correct.
Did you look at soils at that location?
Yeah, just based on what the soil, we dug a test pit, and the soils were, I think it was a B soil. So it wasn't a C, wasn't an A, it was a B soil.
So the comment that I made the comment at the last meeting, and what the comment was, it assumed that it seemed to be unlikely that you were going to have the water drain because it seemed so wet there when we were there, for example. And it wasn't after that much rain, it was very wet there. I can't imagine what it is now.
Right.
So I was wondering why you would have constructed.
Mary, can you mute, please? Sorry.
Okay, I was wondering why, based on those assumptions, that a long infiltration swale wouldn't have been a better approach.
I guess it could be, but I think
Because-
this is the best approach. How's that? I think this will work more better than a long infiltration swale.
The advantage of what you're proposing, well, you've since told me that it will infiltrate, so
Yes.
the premise of my suggestion was not correct. And I also see another advantage. The advantage is if you have the two swales and you have this basin sitting there, it's actually going to act as a catch-all for anything that rolls down that hill.
Exactly.
Right. And there's a third benefit that I understand is that the state, what is it, DOT or whatever, that they require some attempt at infiltration before you connect. Is that correct?
Exactly. And we had to demonstrate that with this design before they issued the permit, which they did issue as well.
All right. And given that it's correct, the Board of Health does not see an issue with standing water because they approved it.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, therefore I don't have any objection either, given all those things. Okay, I get it.
Excellent.
All right. And is there any issue, we also brought up at the last meeting, I don't think you were there, whether there was any issue with emergency egress from the building with those swales? They're not going to be so deep that they can't get out of the building, is it?
No, they won't interfere with the exit or that path for the building.
Okay, all right. All right, so that's all that I think were those were the only comments.
Okay.
So let me see if there's anyone here. This is a hearing for 207 Cambridge Street. It's the old auto parts building, which will soon become the new auto parts building, I understand. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this? Any people interested in the project, adjacent to the project? No. Okay, so I think we're in a position to review a draft order of conditions and move ahead. Eileen or John, are you in a position to do that?
Sure. So the findings are that the project was the construction of a swale to convey flow along the north side of the building and the drainage basin with overflow structure directing stormwater through a pipe into a catch basin on Cambridge Street. 4 parking spaces will be removed to accommodate the drainage basin, and parking area will be rehabilitated. Then the description, the filing history, the plan references, then the wetland values and areas subject to protection. The proposed work was within an isolated wetland and in the buffer zone to isolated wetland. The wetland is isolated and the wetland buffer zone is not regulated under the Mass Wetlands Protection Act or 310 CMR. And it was filed under the Burlington bylaw only. The commission finds that the isolated wetland lacks significant functions or values other than recharge of groundwater and flood control. The commission voted to waive the 20-foot no disturb setback. Then the findings are fairly standard. The stormwater management standards don't, for the most part, don't apply. They're actually reducing pavements. So we do go through them, but I mean, for the most part, they don't really apply. Other findings, this permit also serves as a permit under Burlington's erosion and sedimentation control bylaw. Then the other findings are all fairly standard. And down to the decision. The proposed decision is an approval with conditions. The first condition is the plan references, then their standard administrative conditions. And fairly standard pre-construction conditions as well, which both Mary and Fred have seen several times before. The erosion control conditions, so we're requiring erosion controls basically at the bottom of the site, if you read through the conditions. A prohibition on stockpiling within 20 feet of the street, prohibition on dewatering without an approved plan, a requirement to do daily street sweeping unless it's not needed, standard conditions about additional filling and grading. So all of those pollution control conditions are standard conditions. The stormwater management conditions include the requirement that the construction be overseen by the PE, and that an O&M plan be submitted prior to the issuance of a certificate of compliance, so an O&M plan for that drainage system. Condition 23 is a requirement that if it fails to function as designed, the applicant needs to write to the commission and request what sort of additional filing would be needed. Then buffer zone conditions. Basically, the rest of the buffer zone and wetlands shall be left alone in a natural state in perpetuity. No additional alteration of vegetation within the buffer zone is approved under this decision. Condition 26 is the requirement for surety. We're proposing an amount of $7,500. Condition 27 is a standard condition about non-compliance. And condition number 28 is regarding how to achieve a certificate of compliance, the steps for that. And then there's 4 of those conditions are in perpetuity.
Okay, anyone on the commission have any comments? Dawn, Gail, or Indra? Oh, Okay, how about Bill or Kent? Anybody?
The value of the bond, 7,500. To me, that seems a little steep for a project that doesn't have any real meaningful resource area. It's just a small basin and its infiltration. Anybody agree with that?
Anyone agree with Bill? I agree with you, Bill. Anyone else?
I would
Yes, I
say-
also agree, Indra.
What was that, Indra?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Bill.
John, what did you base the bond on?
Because the work is actually, it may not be a high value wetland, but the work is actually going to be in the resource area. It's not, they're not working the buffer zone, they'll actually be within the wetlands, so there's potential to damage it.
So,
Fine, I just wanted to discuss it. If the applicant agrees the 7,500, then fine.
Okay, I don't hear anything that offers a change at this point, so we'll just move ahead. All right, so therefore, both the findings and the draft decision, the permit are both under Burlington bylaw Article 14 only. So could I have a motion to approve the findings and the permit conditions for the project at 207 Cambridge Street to Mo Santangelo Federal Investment Trust to install a stormwater basement and some infrastructure under Burlington bylaw Article 14.
So moved, Don.
Second,
Second, Bill.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Indra,
yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 7-0-0. The project at 207 Cambridge Street to install a stormwater basement and some infrastructure. The findings and the order of conditions are approved under Burlington bylaw Article 14 by a vote of 7-0-0. Okay, so could I have a motion to require the posting of surety under Burlington bylaw Article 14 for the project at 207 Cambridge Street, requested from Mo Santangelo and Federal Investment Trust to install stormwater basin and infrastructure, requested under Burlington bylaw Article 14.
So moved it.
Okay, is there a second for $7,500? Sure.
Second, Don.
Any further discussion? Anyone want to discuss it? All right, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Indra,
yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer? Jennifer?
Yes.
Thank you. Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes, so by a vote of 7-0-0, the requirement to post $7,500 surety for the project located at 207 Cambridge Street under Burlington bylaw Article 14 to install stormwater basin and infrastructure is approved by a vote of 7-0-0. Okay, Mr. Russell, I think you're all set for tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a
Alright.
good evening.
Yep,
Did you close the hearing? I can't remember.
Mr. Dow, have a good evening as well.
Thank you.
Larry,
Yes,
did you
I-
vote to close the hearing?
I don't think so.
No, I didn't hear that.
let me think on that. No,
Okay, so you should do that now.
okay. Could I have a motion to close the hearing for 207 Cambridge Street?
So
Go
moved.
ahead.
Second, Don.
That was under Burlington bylaw Article 14 to close the public hearing. All right, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Indra,
yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And again, the chair votes yes, so by a vote of 7-0-0, the hearing on 207 Cambridge Street, that hearing is now closed. Okay,
Thank you.
so, thank you, John. Item 8 Again, this was a continued public hearing, and I announced this earlier in the meeting as well. The applicant has requested that for 130 Lexington Street, which is the Islamic Center of Burlington, to remove fill and restore some buffer zone under DEP file number 122-663 is continued. We have voted to have it continued until our November meeting, November 15th. So they will not be heard tonight. Items 9, 10, and 11, again, the commission voted earlier to continue those at the request of the applicant, Somerset Realty. All three, the Redmond Street roadway, 4 Redmond Street, number 5 Redmond Street, are continued until the next meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission on November 15th. John, again, planning board comments. Do you want to say anything about 207? For the planning board?
I'll just let them know that you approved it.
All right. Subcommittee and staff reports and updates. Anybody have anything under these categories?
Nope.
Just want to, I sent out a link to a survey for our MVP project. So just appreciate everybody doing it. And also when you do it, let me know how much time you spent on it, because we have a match that we have to, for the grant, we have to match, so we can actually claim your time. So.
You know, I answered already. I spent about 8 hours on it. I'm only saying it for Burlington's benefit, John. Okay, upcoming meetings, November 15th, as I said earlier many times, and the next meeting in December. I think we have one meeting in December. It's slated for December 9th, 2021. Other business, anybody want to bring up? I have one thing. Anybody else want to bring up any subjects at all?
Just a quick thanks, everybody, for your support.
No problem.
Absolutely.
I was on Muller Road today, and of course, they did some clearing. They did some clearing right before the entrance to the mall on Muller Road. I don't know if John or Eileen, you've seen it yet, or any of the other commissioners have seen it. It looks like it was just recently done. They didn't just clear it. It looks like they plowed under everything. They removed everything and they plowed everything. I thought the regulations were to remove anything that was going to grow higher than a certain number of feet. Is John or Eileen, do you know anything about that at all? I mean, we don't have a lot of control over that, but to me, this was unusually severe in terms of the amount of clearing they did. It looks like they were preparing to plant corn or something. That's what it looks like.
I haven't seen it. I have heard from people who live out there, but you're right. We have really no authority over them. So.
Do they have any regulations that they're supposed to adhere to, that we can call their attention to what they're doing in town?
So the only regulations I'm aware of, that, I mean, they can't really drive into wetlands. They need to do hand cutting in the wetlands, and they have flagged all the wetlands. I looked at where they were cutting up by the landlocked forest, and and I think they're adhering to the rules.
They're not violating their regulations that they work under, as far as you know?
As far as I know.
And Larry, this is not the first time that they've done this kind of thing, around like
What was that?
redness and so forth before, unfortunately.
Yeah, please go take a look at it. I mean, maybe I just don't remember them doing it this severely, but it looked like they plowed everything under, which not just cut it back to 6 inches or a foot, which is often a lot of times what they did. They had some heavy machinery and they went through the whole thing as if they were getting ready to farm it.
Where is this exactly, Larry?
You know, on Muller Road, the back entrance to the mall where the chateau is?
Can't
Right
picture.
before,
Market basket,
Oh,
that
it's-
whole area.
So it's the power line that goes from Lexington, goes through the landlocked forest, then across Route 3, and then goes down by Trader Joe's and
Oh, yeah.
H
Okay.
Mart and all that, and then across Muller Road into Woburn.
Okay.
I'll take a look and see what you think. If anyone finds any regulations that say anything different, that they shouldn't be doing it that severely, let everyone know.
Wasn't there a conservation sign there?
There is
Uh,
conservation land on Muller Road,
Yes.
Okay.
but they have rights. I mean, they do the same thing in the landlocked forest.
Okay.
It's federal law.
Yes, that's what they say. Okay. All right. Is there anything else under other business?
No, just don't forget to come and sign the sheets, signature sheets.
Okay.
So
there's-
Eileen, just, if you could tell Lisa, I'll be in on Monday. I won't be able to get, I'll be out before you guys open tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Eileen, will it be ready tomorrow? For
Pardon?
signature?
Sorry.
Will-
Yes,
will
yes,
it-
the sheets will be ready tomorrow. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, on 102 Rare Wind Street, that driveway thing, are we making any progress on that, on the restoration of what they did there? I think it was 102 Rare Wind
We are
Street.
still expecting the NOI in. I think there was a little bit of, I don't know if the word is dispute, but I think the applicant and his engineer had to actually come to some financial agreement. And when I last heard from him, they were working on it, but we haven't seen it in yet.
Are we supposed to approve a plan before they do the work?
Yes, they're supposed to come back with an NOI, I believe, to address the work that they did on the culvert that they didn't really have permission for. Plus, some of the work was on the neighbor's land.
Right, right. Okay. All right, anything else?
John, could you say a little bit more about this whole headline I just gotten in the Burlington paper today on the beavers?
Yes,
Can't remember the name of the street. Is the street itself flooded?
Hilltop.
Hilltop.
Hilltop, yeah. So what would
I
they do in
didn't see,
that case?
I didn't see the newspaper, but the town has been trapping the beavers on Hilltop for about a month. I thought they had removed them, so I'm not really sure what the newspaper article said.
The newspaper article referred to I think they're gonna remove the dam or something. They're
All
gonna
right, so yeah,
mosquito
so
control
there were several beavers. They've trapped them. The Board of Health actually hired Eastern Middlesex Mosquito Control to actually do the work on the dam breaching, both there and the one in Rohannes Park.
Right, and Tom Hayes, in the article, John, Tom Hayes is quoted, and he did say that there was some cleanup of the brook in 2017-ish timeframe, and the residents are calling for it to be dredged, of course. They think that it's going to improve the situation, and the article seems to say that DPW, represented by Tom Hayes, has said that the issue at this location, it's very flat, which I believe is true, and the issue at this location are the beaver dams. And the article seems to say that they've modeled that the level of the water will lower, like they're guessing around 8 inches by breaching those dams in the area,
Right.
which probably will have a significant contribution to the problems in that area. And these people in the article it's in the weekly paper, basically frustrated because their driveways and yards and houses are all getting flooded when there's a significant rain for 2 days or more. And they think that the town should be doing something more than what they're doing. Is it correct to say, John, that because it's very level, the water is, even if you start widening it and ruining the bank and the resource area there, it's not gonna really do anything, because isn't it the elevation that will make it flow? There's very little elevation there.
Right. It's very, very flat. So it's dredging wouldn't impact the flow at all.
In that area anyway.
Right.
Right.
Not that it would
So-
be allowed. It's a perennial stream. It's got fish. It's got wildlife. It's not a drainage ditch. it's a stream with, you know, a lot of value. So I know some people have been told, well, you care more about animals than people. It wouldn't be effective anyway, and it would be extremely destructive. So.
Right. And
Good point.
I think the DPW, as represented by Tom Hayes, in this particular case, they seem to be on board with the same thinking as well, John. That's what the article seemed to say.
Right. So I'm not really sure if the newspaper's behind or what, because I thought that the dams were breached. The emergency cert was done 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, at least a couple of weeks ago. So,
There was a lot of
So it might
emphasis
be-
on fallen trees and, you know, Mother Nature doing its thing with all these trees falling, uprooted. They were
Yeah.
also making a lot of notes about that versus
Well,
beavers.
the articles seem to say that the Eastern Middlesex mosquito district, or whatever they're called, that they're gonna actually clear the debris all around the dam and all that, that they were hired
Right.
to move the dam and clear it all.
right. And they're doing it by hand. They're not going in there with any equipment. They're doing it with, you know, just chainsaws and hand implements.
Right.
Do they know the rules that we would normally adhere to for something like that? Do they check with the office, with you or Eileen, John?
Right. Well, we met them on
We met
site.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're well aware of what
Yes, they
conservation.
are. I just checked back on our email, John, and Christine Mathis did say that Eastern Mosquito will perform some additional stream cleaning, including the upstream side of Hilltop Drive, either later this week or early next week. So there was some additional work to be done.
And they're doing that not with heavy machinery, are they?
No.
It's-
But
No.
so Tom asked, and the order of conditions for stream cleaning does allow the use of an excavator sitting on the road, excavating within I think it's 25 feet of the culvert. So they can, like, you know, excavate right at the culvert from the road, and that's in the order of conditions for the vectoring. So I think
So-
they're going to do that. They're going to do that at Hilltop, I believe.
Of course, and that's where sediments accumulate as well.
Right.
Okay. All right, anybody else want to talk about this or anything else? Hearing nothing further from all you distinguished people, how about, could we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Bill.
Second
Second.
that.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote on adjournment?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Indra,
Definitely, yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and I definitely vote yes. It's only 8:16 PM and I had to say that. By a vote of 7-0-0, this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is adjourned. Everyone have a very good evening.
You too. Happy Halloween, Bill.
Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween to everybody.